The following contest is scheduled for one fall and is for the World Podcast Championships. Introducing first, from parts unknown, he is the head that makes the bread, Rob English. His tag team partner, hailing out of Atlanta, Georgia, the phenomenal, incomparable, incorrigible, Big Red Cliff Johnson! Accompanied by the man who needs no introduction, Lego Maedro, it's Ed Rowland! At a combined weight of 675 pounds, they are the Wrestling Nerds Alliance!
Welcome back to the Wrestling Nerds Alliance podcast. I am Rob English.
And I'm Ed Rowland.
Oh, shit.
You want to start that over?
I'm back clean up. My bad.
No, that's all right. We're just going to let it roll, guys. Warts and all. Anyways, that was Ed Rowland. That was Cliff Johnson just jumping in on his nuts. And we are the Wrestling Nerds Alliance. What'd you say?
We gotta be perfect on our podcast.
Professional.
So yes, we are recording a little bit earlier than our usual Sunday recording time.
Gonna go up on Friday, right?
Sure.
All right.
Why not? Friday? Tomorrow?
Maybe Friday will be the new day forever. Who cares? Who knows?
Maybe.
Nobody knows. Especially not us.
I actually like being able to record on Wednesday because Raw and SmackDown just went.
It's a little bit more fresh in your mind.
Right.
Yeah.
I had the same thought.
Yeah. Ed did bring it up, I think after we did the first week, and I just said, no.
Unilaterally decided.
We're not doing it. No, I'm kidding. Of course, I always listen to Ed.
A little bit, anyway.
Always.
I don't think you do.
I always listen to you.
You do.
You like him more than me, though.
Because you're my bitch.
That's right.
It's always been that way.
You got that right, Daddy. Anyways, this show has started off really weird.
You can tell it's late.
It is. It's the evening. We've all, worked. Cliff actually is still technically at work.
I am.
But he's off the clock.
I'm not.
He's not.
Always on the clock.
You getting paid to do this, huh?
When you've been in this business as long as I have, perks to come with the territory.
Still don't want to tell anybody what you've been doing?
Not at all.
Okay. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
I'm going to save it for our rap party.
Oh, there you go.
It's a secret to everyone.
It is a secret to everyone except for the two of us.
Right.
And then hopefully I can get a cool drop by saying, yeah. So I want to let this shit build up first.
You got to know how to play it.
That's a great idea.
Hey, blood, so,
I actually wanted you to reach out to, I think, the person you and I are both thinking about to say, hey, would you mind recording this like, I'm so-and-so and you're listening to the Wrestling Nerds Alliance podcast?
Yeah, exactly.
See, I like where your brain's going, son.
Gotta get that drop, homie.
As for the rest of you, you cannot know yet what we're talking about.
Unless you Google it, then I can't be mad at you.
They don't know what you're doing. Stop telling them to Google.
All right, don't Google it.
There's no such thing as Google.
No spoilers, just be surprised.
That's right. We go live. We don't spoil.
We're doing it live!
Very timely, sir.
We're doing it live! Okay.
Anyways, I think that's enough. I'm sure whoever is listening has probably turned this off already.
Click.
Not at all. We're hilarious.
I think so.
Well, I appreciate that you guys feel that way.
It is us, after all.
I'm more pessimistic. I think everybody just shut us the fuck off.
Well, whatever. Fuck those guys.
Yeah. So anyways, let's get into some news of the week. As you talked about, it is Wednesday evening, so Raw and SmackDown are a little bit more fresh in our minds. I figured we could recap those shows. Maybe some highlights. I don't want to go through the whole show. Raw is 3 hours. That's way too long. And then when you couple that with SmackDown, you've had 5 hours of wrestling in 2 days. That's a bit much.
5!
There you go. Even for me, that's a bit much.
And followed by NXT tonight.
Which I started to watch. I started watching that until Ed got in. I got to the Heavy Machinery match. Ed doesn't know who Heavy Machinery are.
Oh, no, I was assuming that was a match where people had heavy machinery that they were going to hit each other with or whatever.
That would have been better than the House of Horrors match.
I imagine.
But yeah, no, Heavy Machinery is the tag team of Tucker Knight and Otis Dojovic. They're these big, giant guys. Otis is probably he looks like he's 4 feet tall, but weighs 400 pounds. Tucker Knight looks like he's 8 feet tall and weighs 500 pounds. But you get it, they're heavy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Say Heavy Machinery.
They're big dudes.
They're basically like the Natural Disasters had sex with Owen Hart's onesie from when he was in the Nation of Domination.
That is probably the best way to explain them. It really is. I don't think I can touch that. I'm going to let that lay there.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Natural Disasters.
That was off the dome.
Yeah. Natural Disaster, Owen Hart Singlet Love Child. That's what Heavy Machinery is. Way to go, Cliff. You nailed it.
Thank you.
Sounds entertaining.
On Barrel Harvard's.
But speaking of this, and this is not on our, you see, we do try to.
There's an outline.
Yeah, there's an outline. I did not put it on the outline, but I wanted to talk about it last week, and we were running out of time. I want to talk about it right now because we're talking about NXT. Have you seen any of the... Well, I'm going to ask Cliff because I know Ed hasn't. Have you seen any of the Roderick Strong profile that they're doing?
Yes, I really like what they're doing. They're trying to really build them, and I like it. I like it a lot. It's about time that they've start going to the, I guess I won't call it the new generation, but because Roddy's been around just as long as all these other guys, but the new NXT guys they're starting to showcase it more since Finn's gone, Samoa Joe's gone, Shinsuke's gone, Sammy's gone. They need new main event talent there.
Yeah. But no, I do like it. I mean, like you said, Roddy's been around for a while in the indies, but he is still a very young guy. But yeah, to kind of fill Ed in on what I'm talking about, they're running this 3-part kind of personality profile on Roderick Strong.
That was the backbreaker guy, right?
Yes.
The Messiah of the backbreaker.
He's got a mean backbreaker.
He does, and his chops are vicious. But he signed with NXT probably almost a year ago. But he's really only kind of been showcased more over the last, I'd say, 6 months or so. Mm-hmm. But they're doing this profile to kind of tell you more about his backstory, where he came from, kind of the life he grew up. Things that obviously, me being a wrestling addict and always wanting to mainline that baby, I didn't even know some of this stuff. Like, apparently he had a very rough upbringing. Mm-hmm. Not that he was out running the streets, but he had 2 parents who struggled with addiction, to the point to where he had a father who was kind of a local rock star, and his mother was an addict who kind of followed him around. Mm. It led to a point to where his mother one night was under the influence, and there was a big fight, and she shot his dad directly in the chest. He lived.
Okay.
But that was kind of like the thing, and he was talking about it, and how he grew up, and then after that, his dad started to train to become a pro wrestler under Jim Neidhart, mm-hmm. and the Anvil let Roddy come along to the practices, and Roddy would get in the ring, and he'd kind of mess around, and at 12 years old, he pulled his dad to the side and was like, you really need to let him keep in this, because he's already displaying he could do this.
Real talent.
Yeah, that was the first part. Apparently, they're going to show another part of it tonight.
Okay.
Like I said, it's a 3-part thing. But yeah, Roderick Strong, I mean, he debuted in the year 2000. He's only 33 years old, So, I mean, that should tell you he's still got, some time to go. And if he can kind of get a foothold in WWE, then obviously good for him. That's where he's going to make his money.
For sure. I mean, he's a young buck at this point in the game. He's still got, a good 5 to 10 years in him.
Yeah.
So he better go ahead and hit the ground running.
And I mean, from a, maybe this is kind of a negative, tone, but I kind of feel like this is the best way to really kind of put something out there for Roderick, because personality-wise,
he's kind of a Lance Storm.
Yeah. That's I would say that's a good comparison. Great in the ring, but mm-hmm. a little vanilla.
Yeah.
For
sure.
But
I am a good fighter, and I will fight you.
there you go. So maybe something like this kind of gives him an edge. You know what I mean? You don't necessarily have to find the right gimmick for him. He can just kind of be Roderick Strong, but you know where he came from and why he fights the way he fights. So
Exactly.
I thought that was a good idea. But anyways, let's get to Raw and SmackDown. Raw, that main event between Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, and The Miz was outstanding.
Yeah, good.
Round of applause.
Very good.
Round of applause.
Finish was not what you would hope for, but it was still, it advanced the story, obviously. Basically,
Yeah.
a lot of near falls, a lot of back and forth. Everybody was working. It ended up where Finn went, I believe, to the floor, and Seth was in the ring with Miz. He hit he threw Miz out of the ring. He hit a suicide dive on Miz, threw Miz back in the ring, and as he was getting ready to come back in there, Samoa Joe attacks him.
Mm-hmm.
Hits the Uranagi on the floor. Seth's done. Finn gets back in the ring, hits the Sling Blade, hits the shotgun drop kick into the corner. You hate that name, Sling Blade. I know you do.
You ain't gonna hurt him. He's just a boy.
I sure do like them French fried taters. But
The taterplex.
the taterplex, that's a good one. But yeah, he hits the shotgun drop kick, and he goes for the coup de grace, but just before he's about to hit, creepy flashes, Bray's in the ring, hits the Sister Abigail on Finn, lays him out. Miz covers Finn. 1, 2, 3, your new number one contender for the IC title. So that means we are getting Miz versus Dean Ambrose, part 83.
Right.
I'm done with that
I am
feud.
completely done with it. I mean, I knew it was happening based on what happened last week with the talk show and with Miz TV and all that crap, but why? Like, why have them move over to Raw just so they could redo the same storyline that they just did? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. The whole purpose of the superstar shakeup was to be able to get the superstars to shake up and not rehash the same shit that we just saw 10 weeks ago. Like, it's stupid.
Now, they're obviously, with the way the match ended, they're setting up for Finn versus Bray, which we talked about last week. I got your demon, Finn.
Got your demon, Finn.
But, they're setting that up, and I do think that's going to be, you all right over there?
Yeah.
All right, good. I think that is going to be a good feud. I am interested in seeing that, actually, because, say what you want about what they do to Bray. Bray is not a bad worker. He's always solid.
Mm-hmm.
Finn is phenomenal.
No, AJ Styles is phenomenal.
I stand corrected, excuse me. Finn is phantasmal.
Super great.
He's super good.
He's demonic.
He's demonic.
Super fantastic awesome.
He's great.
Devilicious.
Oh. You need to sell that to WWE. That's a shirt.
For sure.
Finn's Devilicious. Well, I don't know. That is a little too Adorps Berry Corpse. That's a little,
Too Adorps Berry Corpse. Devilicious.
Trademark. Rob English, Wrestling Nerds Alliance. But yeah, no, it was a great finish. At one point though, because I kind of had a little bit of an issue on Monday night, I was trying to live tweet and I couldn't complete that task. I jumped back in during the main event and then I kind of went back and watched, on DVR. But when I jumped in on the main event, I thought it was for the Universal title, the number one contendership.
Right, I did too.
Then I found it was for the IC. So yeah, Miz Ambrose again. Obviously they're setting that up. They're setting up, to continue the Samoa Joe Seth feud. They're going to start the Bray Finn feud, but they did plant the seeds, obviously, that I'm really believing that at some point they're going to put, Finn Balor in the title hunt against Brock. They were really pushing, I'm fine fighting the bigger guy,
right.
And, that might be a fun match to watch, to be honest with you.
Right.
Watching Brock just toss Finn around, but Finn, he'll hold his own, I feel like, against Brock.
You just got to stay out of his way.
The first time, he'll lose, and then he'll come back, rematch with the Demon, and win.
Ooh, look at that.
If I would have booked it.
There you go. Obviously, we talked about Bray's interference. I do like what you were talking about last week, Cliff, where you were saying that you feel like they could do some stuff with, the whole trying to bring the demon out of Finn. I did not like Ed's idea of...
Oh, you loved it until I had the glowing jar.
I really did. Until the got your demon, Finn.
Yeah.
That, you ruined it. But
because I feel like that's going to happen.
check this, though. So you know how Abigail got burned, right?
Yeah.
Her spirit is floating along, right? Bumps into Finn Balor's demon, and she's trying to use Finn as a way to get out.
Oh,
Deep.
that is good. I like
Deep,
that.
bro.
Deep.
That's tight.
That is so deep.
Abigail is in the sunken place. Get out reference. Black movies, you wouldn't understand.
You said that you saw that. How was that? I actually really wanted to see that.
Again, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
They're also building towards next week. There's going to be a tag team turmoil match for the number one contenders to the Hardys tag titles. We saw a very, very stiff match between Sheamus and Cesaro and the Hardys at Payback that saw Sheamus kick out Jeff Hardy's tooth.
Nice.
Man, that replay was savage, bro.
You saw the tooth fly out, hit the mat. It was bad. And I wonder if there is some heat on Sheamus because he injures some people.
Yeah.
He, for lack of a better way of putting it, is the one that basically was the killing blow on Daniel Bryan's career. Gave him the concussion.
Yep.
You know, he has been known to be pretty stiff and hurt some people and concuss some people. And now he's kicking out Jeff Hardy's fronts. And
I don't know what they're going to do with him, man.
I don't know.
Maybe that's why he's not in the main title hunt anymore.
Maybe. I just don't understand why a guy with red hair needs to dye his beard and hair even more red.
So it stands out on TV.
So he could look closer to Ronald McDonald and Beaker.
Perfect.
Oh, Beaker, dude, that's the best.
Well, that's his cousin.
Yeah.
The Muppets hosted Raw one night.
Really?
Yes. And
Oh, my
Beaker
God.
is Sheamus's cousin, according to Sheamus.
Oh.
Yeah. They did that.
That's why I don't watch all the time, man. I can't do that shit, dude.
They did that. They totally did.
They did that. But the whole
Wait,
focus
hold
of
on.
this... Yeah.
I know it's off subject, but I just wanted to reiterate, because we were talking about the main event, the dark match, where Bray Wyatt runs from, he climbs from under the ring and runs to the back.
If you have not seen this, please look it up. Bray has kind of commandeered the Undertaker spot of appearing and disappearing.
Mm-hmm.
When he attacked Finn, you had the creepy flashes, lights went out, lights come back on, Bray's gone.
Right.
Well, obviously, he's under the ring.
Obviously.
Well, as they often do their dark match main event, as the show goes off, Ambrose is in the ring with Miz, and he's cutting a promo, and for whatever reason, probably because he thought it would be funny, and God, it was.
I bet he had to pee.
If you can look this up, I ask you to do so. A fan is recording it from the crowd. In the middle of Ambrose's promo, Bray slides out from under the ring and runs like he's got a bolt of lightning coming out of his ass. But he keeps looking back at Ambrose like he's afraid of him.
Right.
And just bolts for the bat. It is absolutely hysterical. I've never seen Bray be goofy like that, and it was funny. It was funny.
Yeah, I was crying. It was so hilarious.
But the reason why I wanted to talk about the tag team turmoil match is because it seems the focus of this was on a backstage promo between Kurt Angle and your favorite and mine,
Yes.
the Golden
The
Truth.
Golden Coons.
Just gonna keep letting that ride, huh?
Yeah.
The Golden Truth. They wanted a shot at the Hardys titles, and Kurt Angle brought up their less than stellar win-loss record to where I am very concerned. Do we want a Golden Truth number one contenders?
Who's the other half of
Not
Golden
at
Truth?
all.
It's R-Truth and Goldust, hence Golden Truth.
Right. Okay, wow. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they have this horrible entrance music.
What happened to Goldust, dude?
And that's the thing. Goldust is probably one of the most underrated workers, not just in WWE, but literally of all
Period.
WCW, WWE. The man is fantastic in the ring, but he never ever seems to get above B+. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On the card. But yeah, he's funny. R-Truth is not.
Right.
At all.
And I know Vince thinks it's great, but the kids think it's great, I guess. And really that's all that matters, but God.
Do they really? The kids are into it?
Kids are into R-Truth.
They like repeating what's up.
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
Right. Okay.
It's, North Kakalaki! What's up?
That was a good R-Truth face you just pulled there.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to bitch about that. That's really the only reason why I want to talk
No,
about it.
yeah, that's totally there.
just so pissed that they ruined the whole Goldust Stardust feud. Like, they should have definitely had their match at WrestleMania.
Well, they had that match at the pay-per-view before it, and it sucked.
Yeah, but it should have been WrestleMania.
But it sucked. Why would you go back at WrestleMania when the first one sucked? Look at Matt and Jeff.
They shouldn't have had that first one. It should have only been at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
They should have had a better build, and it should have been amazing. But they ruined it.
I mean, it's kind of like when you go back to look at the Matt and Jeff feud, the Hardy feud, years and years ago in WWE when Matt turned on Jeff and went heel, and he had the hideous black trunks with the MH. They look like a key.
Yeah.
The Kingdom Hearts, trunks, and it was just atrocious. It was bad.
The worst.
Worst.
So now we got him in big pants again.
Now we got him in big boy pants.
Right. Big boy pants.
And his Jimmy legs. Those are freaky, by the way.
Yeah, I can't help but watch what
every time he climbs the ropes. Ladies and gentlemen, put your elbows out to your sides.
He's got pit bull legs.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, I've heard of bow legs. Those are not bow legs. Those are like, just, I don't even know what you would call that.
It's like a wishbone.
Yeah.
Why you gotta make fun of differently abled?
He's not differently able. That's just weird. I blame his parents.
Yeah.
No, Matt, don't get up off the floor like that.
Yeah.
Now look what happens. Poor guy's in his 40s and he gets up like a goof. That's parenting 101.
Teach your kid how to get upright.
That's right. The more you know. So anyways, let's move on to SmackDown. We had the Y2J KO US title. That's a lot of initials there.
A lot in a row.
US title match on SmackDown. Good match. Very good match. KO wins the belt back as if there was any doubt.
We just jumped from Raw to SmackDown
We did.
like that?
You're welcome.
Jeez.
We're moving on.
No breaks.
No
All
breaks.
right, whatever. Nope. So we're not going to talk about Apollo Crews?
Oh,
No,
you Apollo and the Titus brand?
Yeah. Who cares?
The only thing I liked about that segment was Rhino's photobomb.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Anyways, moving on to SmackDown. The Y2J KO US title match. KO wins the US title back from Chris Jericho, as if there was any doubt.
Right.
Talked about it last week. Jericho's taking some time off. They did the big injury angle where KO took him out. What are we thinking? And I don't say this as in I disagree. I'm just thinking, I'm throwing it out there. What are you guys thinking with this new direction? They're taking Kevin Owens as the face of America. He's a little bit more clean shaven, cut his hair, not so scruffy looking. Maybe I thought when I was watching him yesterday, he looks like he's dropping a little weight. Do you think this is something that they're going to try to move him back into the main event slot? Or are you thinking that this is just, hey, let's do something with Kevin Owens because we don't want to put him in the world title picture right now?
I like it. Anything that Kevin Owens does is amazing. And if they're going to give him the ball, let him run with it on SmackDown, then he should take that bitch. The whole Face of America thing, I don't really know where they're going with it. But the whole idea of a Canadian being the face of America and getting massive heat from it,
right,
is awesome. And they even booed Jericho when he said it yesterday.
It's true.
So that's the joke, is a Canadian is the face of America. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of have a Russian as the face of America right now, so why not?
Sure.
What's the difference?
I don't even know what else to say about that.
I mean, he's going to do what he's going to do, and it's going to be good because it's Kevin Owens. You know,
I don't. Trust me. I'm not one that is going to shy away from that if someone asks my opinion. But I mean, yeah, maybe that is what they're trying to do. Who knows? Maybe they're trying to like play up the whole, facetious, I'm the face of America.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They're not gonna turn around and be like, oh, but I really love America now.
No,
and you guys are my bros.
No.
No, I don't want him to be a face for a really long time.
Really long time.
Really, really long time.
Like 5 years long.
Yeah.
Well, that means it's coming in 6 months.
That's right.
True. They'll probably turn him at SummerSlam against somebody stupid.
Brock Lesnar.
Jinder. Because Jinder's definitely not going to win.
Well, speaking of Jinder.
For the U.S. title.
Speaking of Jinder.
Segue game, son.
You're right.
Bam. You know what? See, I knew where you were already going in your brain, and I just set it up for you.
There you go.
Alley-oop. Bam.
Appreciate that, son. Jinder Mahal. Last week, actually at the pay-per-view, wasn't it? No, it was last week. Or was it the pay-per-view? Pay-per-view, excuse me. Jinder Mahal attacked Randy Orton. That was the finish to the House of Horrors match that we're going to get to in a little bit, because I do want to talk about that. But the House of Horrors match ended with Jinder Mahal attacking Randy Orton, along with the Singh brothers, stealing the world title.
Okay. And
getting in a limo and leaving. He showed up on SmackDown holding the belt, demanding he have his photo shoot. And the whole time I'm watching it, I'm thinking, he looks like he could be a champion because he's a big guy. He has a look to him.
The physique.
But the promos were kind of local dinner theater line delivery.
Yeah. This is the most that he's had to talk on WWE
right.
TV.
And he was exposed. He looked it. What are you talking about, Shane? I am blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Like, it was very,
That's what I don't get. How hard is it to have a conversation with another person and just know what you're going to say before you say it?
Says the guy on a podcast.
Shut the hell up.
But no, you're right. You're right. Like, the whole point of
because
reading...
it's different when you're speaking to somebody and you're reading from a script or trying to learn the words to the script.
Mm-hmm.
If they're like, hey, we need you to be this guy, this is what you go say. And if you can't say it, or if you can't ad-lib or you don't know how to, how to go off of somebody, then it's going to come off. It's going to come off like he said, like dinner theater.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole point. If you are reading from a script, you're supposed to memorize the lines. It's supposed to be, sound like a casual conversation. It's not supposed to sound like it is scripted.
Right.
But unfortunately, granted, this is not, Academy Award level acting, but the majority of the people who sometimes get their faces on TV and WWE they sound like that. Jinder Mahal, Mickey James. I could probably pull a few more out of my hat, but like those are the ones that every time they give him a mic, I cringe, not because I'm like, oh, don't give him a mic, it's horrible. It's not to the level of, early 80s, or even Scott Steiner level, don't give him the mic.
Oh my God, Scott Steiner.
Or Sid, don't give Sid the mic, Can we do it again? We're live, pal. Like, no, not that guy. But, like more so because it's going to sound so forced and scripted because they can't pull out that natural sounding dialogue. It just comes out like, they're reading a script. Pause for the crowd to cheer. Now I'm going to deliver my next line.
Right.
They even have the robotic Disney, Hall of Presidents look to him.
That's why I'm really glad that NXT and the Performance Center exists, because it's given those younger guys and even the older guys who come down to NXT to go to the Performance Center, it gives them the ability to have media training. It gives them the ability to have, promo training, and for them to be able to know how to talk and how to act on camera. And I think that's one thing that I think Jinder definitely could have benefited from before he was put back on the main roster was to go down to the Performance Center for a little bit and to actually take those classes and to get some more training and to be more comfortable on the mic if they were planning on this.
Because that's the thing. When he was first called up from NXT back in the day, or was it FCW? When he was brought in as Great Khali's...
Like his it wasn't his personal assistant,
something
but it was
like
his
family, Khali's family owed Jinder's family money or something like that. But he was not that staccato with his delivery. You know, he was a little bit more clean. But that gimmick died a fiery death, and you know, not that it was any great loss, but
it deserved it.
So it's like, I agree with that. I think he probably could have used a little bit, you know, more of like a polish before he came back.
Yeah. Because if you notice any of the guys that get called up from NXT now, they can all go.
Well,
most? Dude.
The ones that get pulled up too fast, I can name a few. Apollo, Dana Brooke.
Meh.
Like
Apollo,
Dana Brooke's promos the last couple weeks, her little segments with Emma backstage are atrocious.
Yeah, but that's a very minimal. I didn't say all.
And Apollo, I don't know if it's the happy smiling guy gimmick that he does or what, but he's not strong.
So why is there such a rush to put Jinder in that spot then? I mean, why wouldn't they take the time to make sure he was ready to go?
Well, it's a good thing you brought that up. And this is not on the outline. This is literally just, you know, it popped into my head when you said it. WWE is actually going to be making a weekly television show in India.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So I would assume he's going to be a major focus of that.
Would make sense.
You know, the Singh brothers, him, probably even the guys that are in NXT, you know, that are Indian as well. But yeah, I mean, just wooden promos. My thing is I don't even know if this is going to work. It's not a huge risk, though. Because if you think about it, every now and again they do this, where they just kind of pull a guy up out of obscurity and go, here, we're going to push him as a heel.
Here's the ball, go get it.
Yeah, they did it with R-Truth.
Yeah.
Not too long ago. He, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he was feuding with John Cena. It lasted all of about a month and a half, and then R-Truth went back down the card. You know? So I feel like this could be the same case with Jinder Mahal. I think he'll get more of a focus, though, because of the whole India expansion, but still. I don't even know if it'll work.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
One other thing I wanted to ask,
see.
more so because I'm curious to see what Cliff's thoughts on this are. All the vignettes for the soon-to-be debuting in the ring new character for Lana.
Yeah, I'm very confused about it because
It's like a female Fandango.
Yeah, but I just don't understand why they would do that with her, because Rusev is still on the show.
Yeah.
And they're on the same show. They didn't split them up. So I don't understand how
they might be
different people unless they bring Rusev back as a face, which I may be okay with.
I might be okay with that too. I feel like they've really dropped the ball with Rusev in a lot of ways. But
sure.
I feel like maybe that is what they're doing. They might be splitting them up, and it might literally be as dumb as we're just never going to explain it. All of a sudden they both pop up on SmackDown. Rusev is still Rusev, but Lana now... I don't see how you have her come out speaking in the phony Russian accent anymore. She's got to talk in her normal voice if this is her new character to me.
But they're still calling her the Ravishing Russian, though.
Are they?
Yeah.
I haven't heard that. Granted, I probably haven't been paying attention.
Well, maybe I know that
the vignettes are
saying
distracting.
Are they?
Tuesday nights is about to become ravishing.
Oh.
So maybe they haven't said Russian, but
yeah,
it's still. I don't know. I don't get it.
Are they changing her name?
No, she's still going to be Lana.
She's still Lana.
But all the vignettes are her chair dancing.
Ooh, like a...
Kind of. I mean, this is still PG. We don't want to push it into like...
Flash dance?
Lap dance, maybe? Everybody. Yeah. Let's go to the champagne room, y'all. You know, like...
It's VIP time.
No sex in the champagne.
Right. But no, like, she has a legitimate dance background.
Mm-hmm.
You know, real dancing, Ed. Let's not, go there.
I didn't say anything.
But,
hey, I know some dancers who are dancers now.
Yeah.
Real dancers.
Yeah.
Magic City Mondays, boy.
Does that come with like a discount card like you get at Kroger?
This is a digression of epic proportions.
It's the segue thing.
As you said earlier, it's late.
I know.
Yes.
This is where it goes.
Lana,
we're a little more focused midday on a Sunday. Wednesday night, we tend to drift off into
around a little bit.
Lana's a stripper.
So the moral of this story is Lana can do no wrong.
No.
And she can do whatever she wants to do.
I agree. I think she's great. You know, she's obviously very easy to look at.
Mm-hmm.
But she plays her character very well.
Mm-hmm.
To be determined in the ring.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I've seen her hit one spin kick on somebody, and I was like, oh, okay.
Right.
And that's about it.
But that was it.
Yeah.
You know, when she had her WrestleMania match, literally, I think she did about 3 moves, and then they were like, all right, Lana, go back on the apron.
All right. Go be pretty.
Yep. Go over there. So, yeah, speaking of pretty, we're going to talk about a dreamy individual right now.
The American dream doth roll.
No. No. We're going to talk about a man who recently lost his blue contact lenses with no explanation. We're going to talk about the big dog, Roman Reigns.
Big dog? Roman Reigns had blue eyes?
Yes!
When was that?
When he debuted in the Shield,
Mm-hmm.
and up until not long after he won the title, he wore blue contact lenses. And then out of nowhere, they go away, and he's at his natural brown eye color.
No one's going to notice.
No one will notice.
Like, something's different
That happened to me one day. I was watching it, and I'm going, why does Roman look different to me right now? Yeah.
So do you go into your creator wrestler on WrestleMania and change all this blue eyes to brown now?
No.
Can't change his eyes on Raw 17.
Nope, can't do that. Can't do that. But anyways, we kind of hit on it a little bit last week, but I wanted to touch on it more because of something that happened at the pay-per-view. During and after the Braun Strowman-Roman Reigns match, which was actually a really solid match.
So I've heard.
Really good match.
And Braun did the whole injury beatdown on Roman.
Mm-hmm.
Just as he did on Raw a few weeks before. He took him to the extreme. He pulled out the ring steps and started bashing him on his ribs.
Nice.
They did the whole cutaway camera angle on Braun. They cut back, and obviously the ref had given Roman a little something to put in his mouth, and he starts coughing up blood. Yeah, pause. So he's coughing up blood, and they're playing up the whole, oh, he's got internal injuries. Oh, God. Somebody save Roman! Yeah. Oh. You know what? I can see that happening.
Right?
I can see that happening. We have the whole Roman beatdown. Roman makes his way to the backstage area, and for those that watched Raw Talk, which is the WWE version of Talking Dead.
Right, the after show.
Yes, they do it on Raw. They do it on SmackDown. Talking Smack, though, much better show than Raw Talk.
Much better.
Because the Daniel Bryan, Renee Young dynamic,
Yeah.
fantastic. Daniel Bryan has no filter.
Says whatever the hell he wants.
Whatever he wants.
Wow.
Renee Young lets him. They were calling James Ellsworth Hogsworth.
Hogsworth.
Wow.
They said that's his nickname in the locker room. Use your imagination.
Right.
But yeah, Talking Smack is almost always a great show. But Raw Talk, after the pay-per-view, you saw Roman headed to the ambulance.
Mm-hmm.
And as we all know, the last time Roman headed to an ambulance after a beatdown from Braun, you had chaos.
A flippage.
This time was no exception. Roman's getting ready to be loaded into the ambulance, and you hear in the distance my favorite line now, and I want it on a shirt. I'm not done with you! Just like he did on Raw the few weeks before. I'm not done with you! He comes running. Roman gets out of the way, and Braun clips right into the door of the ambulance, rips the door off, staggers back towards the ambulance, and Roman gives him 3 very stiff door slams.
Wow.
Braun walks away like a wounded animal. Roman standing there coughing up blood, doing a very good job actually of selling it, because not only was he like coughing, he was making himself wheeze and everything. It wasn't over the top. It actually worked. All the while, the crowd is chanting, "Thank you, Strowman." And as Roman's walking to the back, beat up, they start chanting, "You deserve it."
Mm-hmm.
So Cliff touched on this a little bit last week, and I wanted to bring it back. Is this fair? Does he truly deserve the hate that comes from the crowd? I understand it, as we talked about it last week, when you are the chosen one and you're being crammed down the throats, whether people like it or not. Happened to The Rock, happened to John Cena, it's happening to Roman now. You have the smart contingency in the crowd who nowadays is far greater than it's ever been. That's really the only thing keeping the business afloat anymore in WWE is the smart fans, and they bring their kids to the show. But you have a lot of monkey see, monkey do. When people start chanting, eventually, everyone joins in the fun. This guy is working his ass off, and I think if you did pull back a little bit and kind of accept the fact, like, hey, this guy's trying. You know,
he's just feeding his family, man.
Are you just trying to become part of the show?
Yeah.
Or are you really hating this guy this much? And if so, why?
Well, I think it gets to a point to where, like you said, the fans do like to go together. You know, if somebody gets a chant starting loud enough, eventually everybody's going to be chanting that. Whether it's thank you such and such or you screwed such and such. It's gonna be, you know, if you deserve it starts coming up, 5, 100, 2,000, 10,000. Like, it's gonna grow.
It's gonna grow. It's gonna spread.
That's just the nature of the fan that wants to be a part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Which at some point it gets to a point to where it's just like, hey guys, the show's not about you, but whatever. I do think that it's not well deserved. Like, I get it. What everything that you said makes complete sense with the whole, you know, hating the chosen one, but it just it's starting to become unfair. Like, it's just like, really. But the silver lining in it is that I just really, really, so really hope that they take this opportunity to turn him heel. Not because I want to see a heel Roman. A heel Roman. It's just because if you saw what they did, like you said with The Rock, they were chanting "Die Rocky, die" to this man, and they flipped him. And using that motivation, they were able to flip him, and then he went on his heel run, and then that character ended up becoming one of the greatest superstars of all time.
Well, I'm going to discuss why I don't think that's ever going to happen in a minute. But first, I want to see, Ed, what are your thoughts?
All right, I don't remember Rocky being booed. I didn't see him until after he was done being the blue chipper.
Yeah, you didn't jump in.
Yeah. Sucky might be got shat on.
Very, like, he was stained.
Right. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think he deserves it, for sure, especially not after hearing that Chris Jericho podcast. He just sounds like the coolest dude.
He does. I want to have a beer with Roman Reigns.
Let's go hang out with Roman Reigns.
I mean, he seems like the most, like, legit, down-to-earth dude ever. And
right.
Yeah.
So, what I would do with it from here is I would be like, have him come out and be like, all right, guys, you want to see me get my ass kicked? Triple threat match. Me all by myself. 3 dudes. Let's see what happens. And then, yeah, have him cheat to win. And flip him. Have him be a heel. Be like, haha, you fuckers, you're not going to see me get my ass kicked today.
Well, and to kind of piggyback off that and what you said, Cliff, anybody who saw his promo the night after WrestleMania, he came to the ring, he interrupted the standing ovation, thank you, Taker. His music hit, just a chorus of boos. He came to the ring for 15 minutes straight. He stood in the ring, let them continuously boo, chant things at him, and he would wait, and he'd bring that mic up. And just as he was about to bring the mic up and say something, they'd get louder, he'd pull the mic down, and he'd wait.
For 15 whole minutes.
15 whole minutes. And at one point,
amazing.
he even did the cocky, like, look at everybody, and he kind of goes like this. He brings the mic up and then, like, literally stops. Goes, ha! And they start going again, and he just kind of goes, ooh, I got you in the palm of my hand. He did that. And I'm like, see, he'd be fantastic if you just let him be that cocky. I use the example of Shane Douglas because that was the cocky, I can do everything with ease because I'm just genetically gifted. But he doesn't have to be that. He's more of a badass, but like he can be the badass. You know, I'm going to dominate this place because who's going to stop me? Heel. But I don't think they're ever going to do it. And the reason why I point to that is the whole Rocky flip, die Rocky die, to turning him into The Rock, that was a different time. Believe it or not, that was 20 years ago now. And at that time, there was a stronger heel-face dynamic. Granted, we were going into the Attitude Era where there was a lot more gray to the black and white, but that was a different time. If you look at John Cena, for the better part of 15 years, people have been going, oh my God, turn him heel.
Right.
They never did.
Nope.
Now, you can say a lot of reason has to do with the fact that he is such a giving person outside of the ring. It's well documented what that man does on his never days off, the Make-A-Wish, the movie schedule. He is a ambassador for the company. The man learned Mandarin because they were expanding into China, and he wanted to be able to give a promo in perfect Mandarin. Nice. And he did. You know, I mean, that's the kind of guy. He is a company man.
You couldn't buy him as a heel.
Well, not just that, but you absolutely could buy him as a heel. But they never turned him because of the Vince McMahon look at this and say, okay, if I turn him heel, would he probably set the world on fire as a heel? Absolutely. But within about 3 weeks, everybody's going to cheer him anyways. Because he's going to be so cool that they're going to want to cheer him.
Right.
Think NWO. Think The Rock. Think anytime Steve Austin. Anytime Austin was a heel.
Yep.
But the crowd wanted him to be a face because he was so fun to watch, being such a badass. It would have happened to Cena.
Yeah.
And if you do it with Roman, it's going to happen with Roman. If you turn him heel, I guarantee you within a month's time, he will be the most over guy in the company.
But
Okay.
why would they do that?
Because here's the
thing.
thing.
Same thing with AJ.
The only time it matters to Vince McMahon about what the crowd says is whether or not they even respond.
Right.
True.
Boo him, cheer him, I don't care, you're making noise.
Still, to me, that's only step one. You know what I mean? Then you got to get him to do what you want him to do.
Who's the biggest merch seller in the company?
John Cena.
Who's number 2?
New Day.
No.
Yep.
Roman Reigns.
Nah, blood. Look it up.
I will look it up. But either way, whether it's New Day, whether it's Roman Reigns, he isn't below 3.
Right.
I'm pretty sure he's up there.
Okay. So why would you even bother?
Roman Reigns sells more than anybody.
Oh, there you go. See? He just looked it up. There you go.
Do they sell Roman Reigns chest protectors?
They should.
They should.
They sell the wrist.
What? Yeah.
I'm jacking off my hand.
Superman punch.
Yeah. So yeah, speaking of jacking off my hand.
Oh, Jesus.
That was a horrible segue. It has nothing to do with it. That's why I wanted to say it, because I was going to... Why are you bringing this up as a segue? It literally has nothing to do with what I'm going to say. I just wanted to repeat that word.
I was going to say, you're 3 weeks in, and you're on fire with the segues. Today... Yeah,
we're moving into now... I wanted to talk about the fact that Billy Corgan...
Yeah. Smashing Pumpkins, Billy Corgan.
Smashing Pumpkins, Billy Corgan, former president of TNA.
I was as shocked as anyone.
Yeah, you were. Yeah. I remember I was telling you were like, wait, Smashing Pumpkins guy runs TNA? Well, kind of. Yeah. Billy Corgan has bought the rights, the trademarks, the name, and the world title belt for the National Wrestling Alliance. There's not a lot else besides that right now. He is obviously in planning stages for things. His right-hand man in all of this apparently is Dave Lagana, former head writer for SmackDown.
Right.
And TNA. Now, what does this mean for the NWA? Well, obviously, Billy Corgan is trying to get back into the wrestling business. He is a lifelong wrestling fan. He had some involvement with ECW, TNA. He even had his own promotion in, I want to say it was Chicago for a little while there. They were going to have a reality show, and then that, for some reason, got kicked off. I believe it was going to be on AMC or something like that. He does not own any footage.
Right.
He doesn't really own anything besides the name, the belt, and the rights to use it.
Logos,
well, yeah, the trademarks, things like that. But apparently, the NWA really is a dead brand. The guy who owned it, I believe his name was Bruce Tharp.
Mm-hmm.
He sold it to Billy, and they have a streaming service.
Yeah.
Kind of like WWE Network for NWA footage. Billy does not own that.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, Tharp, still owns it and is going to operate it. But what this guy was doing is there was no NWA.
Right.
He owned the rights to it, and anybody that wanted to pay him a licensing fee got to license the NWA brand for their indie promotion. Billy is not going to take that away. I know when I was texting you guys about this, that was what I was wanting him to do. Like,
right.
you know, hey, if I took over the NWA, I'd say, guess what, guys?
Snatch it all back up.
That's mine.
Yep. Come work for me.
There you go. So there's no National Wrestling Alliance right now. Does that mean that he might not start something like that? I mean, it's possible. But the whole plan, obviously, is for Billy to do something with the name. He's going to let those leases run out. And then, I'm assuming, not renew them. But hopefully by then, we'll know a little bit more about what's going on. But that might be something interesting to keep your eye on. But I go back to, it's a dead brand. Doesn't matter.
Where was their original base home area?
The version that was owned by this guy Tharp? Or...
No, what? Any of them, all of them, whatever.
Well, the original NWA is about as dead can be.
Right, because that was the 70s, 80s,
right?
right?
It literally, when Shane Douglas threw down the NWA title...
Really? That was what killed it?
Much it?
That was literally the death blow.
Wow.
Yeah, it really never recovered after that. They were already struggling to begin with, and when he... came out there was a little revival in it when TNA first came out. They were NWA TNA. They had the world title belt. They had the NWA name, the NWA, belts. But eventually they split away from the NWA and it just died. So if Billy Corgan's going to do anything, how do you resurrect that? Because I'm going to be honest, the people that know even what the NWA is very slim nowadays.
Yeah, at this point. I think it's, if they just start promoting it as another brand, as another set of eyes on the wrestling product, I think it'll be okay. But if he doesn't own the rights to any of the tapes or anything like that, there's no way that it even matters. So either he inherits it and completely changes it, or he can use it as a way to build a new brand and basically, if it's the new NWA or some shit, you don't want to call it the new, but whatever.
Because as we all know, anything with new in front of it does so well.
New Coke.
In wrestling,
new Coke,
especially.
New Nexus.
New Nexus.
There was a new Nexus.
Yeah.
That's sad.
The new Midnight Express.
Yeah.
The new Rockers. The new Blackjacks.
The new Blackjacks.
The new Hart Foundation.
Poor Tyson.
Yeah.
No, not that one. I'm talking about the new foundation. Jim the Anvil Neidhart and Owen Hart wearing hammer pants and suspenders. Pity that didn't get over.
Yeah, I was not into it.
And not just hammer pants, but like checkered,
big checkered
pastel hammer pants.
Not the pink and black heart colors.
No, we're talking yellow, blue, black. Yeah. And then Anvil left and they threw Coco Beware in there and the team became High Energy.
Right.
That's a selling point. They got high energy, y'all.
First of all, I loved High Energy.
You would love High Energy.
Because Coco was in it.
Coco Beware, y'all. I'm doing the
Birdman.
Birdman.
You guys can't see it, but I'm doing the bird right now.
Yeah, he is.
He's good at it, too.
So, speaking of Birdman flying.
Attorney at law.
Birdman, attorney at law. This man needs to call him.
Rub hands
X-Pac.
like Birdman.
X-Pac. Sean Waltman.
Oh, that's Birdman for real.
For those that don't know, X-Pac is in some shit.
I thought it was Six that was in trouble.
6, X-Pac, 1, 2, 3. The Kid,
Sean Waltman.
Lightning Kid,
Yeah.
about to be
behind bars.
behind bars Kid.
Taking it up the pipe.
Yeah, he's gonna be the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 D's kid.
X-Pac was on his way to a booking with the IPW UK promotion in England. He was caught in LAX. Canine officer, drug dog,
Yep.
smelled something on Mr. Waltman and signaled to the other officers that it smelled something.
That guy got drugs.
Sean Waltman was pulled to a secondary screening area where a search of his bags, this is all, by the way, coming from Mike Johnson at pwinsider.com. Great website. I highly suggest you check him out. Basically, he was pulled into a secondary screening area where a search of his bags found 15 white methamphetamine pills, 23 multicolored methamphetamine pills, 2 THC liquid cigarettes, 56 THC capsules, and 3 cannabis chocolate bars, or what Ed Roland likes to call Sunday afternoon.
No, I don't take pills. What are you talking about? Candy bars.
Good old hillbilly
Check the
Jesus.
dessert, all in one bag.
Yeah. No, joking. Ed is not a drug guy. He does partake in things from the earth, though.
That's right. It grows out of the ground. It's natural.
Now, given that Waltman was claiming that he was flying to England, they determined that this was obviously more than one person should
They don't
be
know
taking.
X-Pac very well.
Yeah. And the fact that he also had $736.10 on him, that he was flying to England determined to sell what he had on him.
Right.
After being taken into custody, they also learned that he had an outstanding warrant for a previous DUI case. They also discovered that he is currently on probation from just last month from a drug arrest in the state of Pennsylvania, dated in February 2016 for possession of marijuana, possession of paraphernalia, possession of a controlled substance without a legal prescription, and driving without his headlights on. He actually put in a plea on March 6th, 2017, so literally just over a month ago. He pled guilty to the possession of paraphernalia. All the other charges were dropped, but he was sentenced to a year probation, and he must undergo drug alcohol evaluations and complete the recommended treatment. Now, X-Pac spent a day or two in prison.
Yep.
He missed the booking, no-showed it. Nobody could reach him.
Mm-hmm.
There was actually some fear online that something bad happened to him because, obviously, as you brought up, he has some history there of some abuse. When it was discovered he was in prison, he has a podcast. He also does some things on the AfterBuzz internet show.
Okay.
They reached out. They said, hey, Sean's okay. He's going through some issues.
Issues.
He was released on $35,000 bond and obviously is in some trouble. He has come out, though, and said that the pills were not crystal meth, that they were pills he was taking to clear up a yeast infection that he had.
They said they tested him in a lab and it came up meth, dude.
Yes. Why are you laughing? Because he has a yeast infection. X-Pac's baking a whole loaf of bread. Smells like sourdough.
Well, that's absolutely hysterical. Oh, man. I guess
Hey.
his defense is like, I mean, would I really tell somebody that I had a yeast infection, bro?
Look, and I hope this gentleman is listening to this podcast right now. We know a guy who had a yeast infection.
You get them in your mouth if you're a dude.
He had it in his mouth.
Yes, he did.
You know what I'm talking about. And if he's listening, hi, Bubbles.
We love you.
Oh, this show is going off the rails tonight. Yeah, so he says that
gotta bring it back.
the pills were for a yeast infection. Now, we laugh, but it's not funny.
Not really.
It really isn't.
That guy's life is fucked.
Sean Waltman has had a history of abuse. Mm-hmm. He's had a history. He's gotten himself clean several times on WWE's dime.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing that the company will do. No questions asked. If you are anybody that used to be under their employ, if you reach out to them and say, hey, I have a problem, I need help, they will pay for your treatment.
Right.
And it's not cheapo treatment. They get the
real deal.
They spring for,
$1.
Right. Some people have used this treatment a few times. I don't know 100% that he is, but I know that he has been somebody that has taken them up on that. Speaking from personal experience, not myself, but people very close to me, addiction is hell. Okay?
True that.
It is absolute hell. It ruins not just you, but relationships. It ruins family.
Mm-hmm.
People that have to deal with it
screws up kids.
Never the same because of it. Ever. So I hope that, this is kind of the last straw and maybe he finally gets the help, if that's what it is.
Yeah.
He claims that it was for a yeast infection. They did test all the stuff that he had on him, and it came back that it was, what they thought it was.
Bad drugs.
But you hope that this is kind of it, and we don't get another, story not too long from now that worse has happened.
Right.
Right, because that's definitely the path that it's taking. If you pay attention to any of the wrestlers who battle addiction, who can't seem to get over it, definitely we'll be seeing one of those pictures at the beginning of Raw and SmackDown, and that's something that we just don't want to see, especially from somebody that we've looked up to and we had to see so many times over the course of the last few years.
Now, it's interesting you brought that up because I did want to talk about that. Obviously, we wouldn't be doing this podcast if we didn't have a very strong passion for professional wrestling.
Right.
The people that take part in professional wrestling, make no mistake about it, they are abusing their bodies for your entertainment.
Yep.
300 days a year.
Yeah. As the story, is often said, stories are fake.
The injuries are real.
Conflicts are fake, but the injuries are real. You cannot, day after day, drop from 8 feet in the air, flat on your back, on a surface that, while it looks soft, is not.
Not that soft.
No. If you are curious, if you are somebody that does not watch professional wrestling much, and you happen to be listening to this, I ask you to look up online what is the makeup of a pro wrestling ring. You would be shocked to know it's not a trampoline.
Canvas and plywood.
It's canvas and plywood with some steel under it, and that's it.
Yep.
A little bit of padding.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very little.
Yeah,
but that's it. And you do this day in and day out, and you constantly abuse your bodies, that pain is going to build up. Is that something that obviously a lot of pro wrestlers, it might be the lifestyle. Granted, that seems to be phasing away now as time goes on, and there's not as much partying backstage as there used to be, but it was a very live fast, party hard time. Well into the 90s and 2000s. That seems to, as I said, faded out. But is this something that, should there be more of a focus now? WWE has done very well with the wellness policy and all the things that they try to look out for with the talent. Obviously, now they are going even one step further when it comes to, if you've shown a history of concussions, we're going to stop your in-ring career.
Right.
Look at Corey Graves. Look at Christian. Look at Daniel Bryan. Probably the most famous example of that. We're not going to let you get to the point to where you are not going to have a quality of life after this.
Right.
Right.
Is there maybe something they need to do in the wellness policy now to where there's more education to this? Maybe do they need to look into other alternatives for pain relief for some of these guys? Because they can't take, with the opioid addiction being what it is in this country, can't just throw pills at these guys.
Nope.
That's where it's like I point to somebody like CM Punk, who, it's not just a gimmick. The man is straight edge. He won't even take aspirin for a headache. Imagine that.
Right.
Imagine, I've had quite a bit of dental work, in the past, and I've had a few root canals. I couldn't imagine doing that without anything.
Right.
I remember the pain I was in before I had the root canal, let alone, what's going on. So, not everybody is able to be like that.
Right.
So, I don't know, like, what should be offered to these guys, by the company, by other companies that would help them maybe avoid things like this?
That's really such a hard question to answer, because drug addiction has been something that has plagued wrestling since its inception, or at least since it became popular and part of the the rock star culture that started in the 80s and the 90s, and yeah, like you said, things have died down with the rock star type culture, but the pain doesn't change. That stays.
That's constant.
And that was one of the reasons why Kurt Angle ended up leaving the first time when he left WWE, because he got addicted to pain pills and drugs and things that would just help him be able to function the next day.
Yeah. I believe at one point he said he was taking something ridiculous, like 40 Vicodin a day.
Yeah.
At one point.
That would kill a person.
That would kill a person.
Kill somebody. Like,
yeah.
How he's walking upright, I have no clue. But the thing about it is that, there's really, what other techniques for pain do you have other than medication?
Yeah.
If they want to do like a holistic approach to it, they can try stuff like that. But a lot of people don't subscribe to those types of values, or not necessarily values, but those types of, ideology. So a lot of people may not, they just say, hey man, give me a pill, give me a Vicodin, give me an aspirin, I got a headache, no, you got a concussion. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be different. And a lot of these guys, because they've grown up in the wrestling culture and being and still being part of that culture, it's almost like a rite of passage to fight through the pain.
How much can you take? To
wrestle with an injury, to continue the match after you've been, concussed, or, it's just part of their fighting spirit, so to speak. And I think it's just going to be really difficult to implement some other sort of program besides just testing these guys and making sure that they're not taking, illegal drugs or whatever, whether or not it's performance enhancing or just for entertainment purposes. But I really don't know. And coming from somebody who's had, family members who struggle with drug addiction and stuff like that, it's difficult to even to put that, because is a lot of it is pride too.
Yeah.
It goes into, oh no, I'll be fine. I'm good. And then 10 years later of doing that, yeah, you're not good. You're dead.
As you've pointed out, you've had very close people to you, just as I. That's what they say. The first, it's not a catchphrase. The first step is acceptance. You have to be able to accept, I have a problem.
Right.
And look for help. But you mentioned, you don't know if there's any other option. Ed, I ask you, they have somebody now who's, again, involved in the company, was just put in the Hall of Fame this year, who has literally saved the lives of 2 people that have had problems with addiction, Jake the Snake and Scott Hall. I'm talking about Diamond Dallas Page.
Right.
DDP Yoga. He's helped Chris Jericho. He's helped Mick Foley.
Mm-hmm.
Mick Foley was in incredible shape before he ended his tenure on Raw as GM.
I wouldn't go as far as saying incredible.
Well, you know what I mean. Like, the man was...
No, I'm just kidding.
The man was very overweight, and when he left, he
looking
was...
good for Mick.
He looked better than me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, but DDP, his career ended because of back injuries.
Right.
Started focusing more on his yoga program that he developed, and now he's... the man's in his 60s, and he looks incredible.
Yeah. The same as he did last time he was on
there
TV.
You go.
Right, for sure.
So I ask you, is this something maybe they should look into? Should they maybe in the Performance Center and in WWE say, hey, we now have the DDP yoga program now
right.
that we're going to teach everybody. We're going to have you all involved in it.
All right, well, I feel like the injuries are stemmed most from twofold. One, yes, the conditioning would help a lot. because the better control you have over your body, the less likely you are to get injured.
Look at RVD.
Right.
Yeah.
Second, I think it really starts with the prevention with a lighter schedule. Because, like, you're getting hurt every day for a week, taking 2 days off. That's not enough time for your body to heal before you start taking hits again.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you should only work once, twice a week, tops. And even then...
Yeah. Not to cut you off, you really hit on something there. That's something that I've thought about, and I think I've even mentioned it to you once, Cliff, when we were talking about some of the injuries that people had. Like, last year when there was a major rash of injuries in WWE, wrestling doesn't have an off season.
Nope.
It's every week, all year long.
Mm-hmm.
This could help not only the wrestlers' longevity and their bodies, it could help with characters too.
Mm-hmm.
Give
For sure.
these guys, cycle them in and out. When you look back at the territory days, yeah, they were working a lot, but you were fresher for the crowd if you wrestled in a territory for 6 months, you disappeared for 6, and you came back again.
Right.
There's absolutely no reason why, with the amount of people that are under contract in WWE, you could not cycle people in and out like that. You'd help their characters, and you'd probably help their bodies.
The rash of injuries that they had anyway.
Yeah.
That people were able to come in and step up. But I think it's one of those things like, if somebody's hot, how do you determine whether or not they come or they go? Like who stays on the programming for all year and who goes midway? Who takes off in July, and then what type of backlash would you get, from the boys if you're one of the ones? Because you hear how people get kind of shit on when they have promos. They talk about the part-timers. When they talk about Brock, they talk about Cena. They have promos talking about the laziness, and people like Dean Ambrose takes pride in being one of the guys who wrestles the most out of the whole
I
year.
wrestled 300 matches last year.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, so it's a great idea. I think it would be great for the product in the long run, but I don't know how the wrestlers would take to it immediately, and then also how the fans would take to it. Because if I'm used to seeing Finn Balor on my TV every week, and then all of a sudden they're like, hey, yeah, Finn's going to be gone for
3 months.
3 months just because he wants to go rest up. And it's just like, well, what happened? Did he tear his rotator cuff? Did he have a concussion? No. It's just his time off. Nah.
We're taking him off the road.
Okay, but here's the thing. You can rest a dude without taking him off TV. You just have him do vignettes and stuff. You're not having him wrestle matches. You're not having him make towns. He's at home filming spots. Or even film them all up front and then give him a month off so that he's on TV once a week the entire time. No one forgets who he is.
Yeah, not a horrible idea.
But if they did that for everybody, it's just... To be able to cycle, if you think of how many wrestlers they have on the roster, and if they just cycle 1 or 2 every month, you're just going to keep running vignettes of people that are off.
You'd have to start grouping them up, like take 20 minutes out of the show to be like, oh, well, this dude and this dude are racing across the country or some bullshit like that. You know what I mean?
We're going to introduce a new title, the Road Rally title.
Right, I don't know. There's got to be a way to do it without him getting hurt, is what I'm saying.
I challenge you for your cross-country championship.
You got to walk the whole way.
Got to walk. Should weed be allowed in the company?
You know how I feel about that.
I know. Well, that's why I looked at you, sir.
I think it's a miracle, and yes, I don't see why.
We come from the earth.
It's a puritanical nightmare, the fact that it's fucking illegal in the first place, and William Randolph Hearst and the paper business, blah, 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 conspiracies. Either way, yeah, it's retarded. The whole thing's illegal in the first place. Alcohol is a worse drug. And I've heard lawyers and judges say that.
Goddamn, Hillbilly Jesus just went off.
This PSA was sponsored.
Hey, you asked me about something I was passionate about.
Damn, what was the cookies earlier? Damn it, I forgot.
They were 3 cannabis chocolate bars.
I'll tell you what, those are good. You get the ones with the caramel inside?
Oh,
it's the best.
Oh, God.
Classic. Loving this shit.
So yeah, I mean, there really isn't a honest answer for it. You know what I mean? It's sad. It really is. You want him to get the help that he needs if allegedly, this is what it is.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there's a very good chance he could be going to prison, actually. This isn't, I mean, he's on probation. He has priors. 5 felony counts is what he's being brought up on right now.
That's crazy.
Whew.
Yeah,
if that's, oh man, I can only imagine.
Well,
that would...
that's, I don't want to dwell on it at this point. I feel like we've already talked about it enough, but I hopefully, things work out,
Let's
well
get
for him.
Sean some DDP yoga, see how he feels about it.
There you go, man. So yeah, let's jump into something else here. The contestants for this year's Best of the Super Junior tournament in New Japan have been released, and last year's tournament was fantastic. Obviously, you had the amazing Ricochet Will Ospreay match last year's tournament.
You mean the Spot Monkey match?
You mean the Matrix? It looked like it was in the Matrix. The stuff those guys were doing.
I love that match. I watched it like 3 or 4 times.
A week?
No, just total.
Oh, okay. He's like, I like to sit in a dark room. I like to turn that match on.
Couple glasses of rosé.
Just oil myself up. Go ahead and flip, King Ricochet. Go ahead and flip. Boy, that Will Ospreay, when the light hits him a certain way, look like a lady. I'm sorry. If you guys are listening still, I'm sorry. Oh. So, yeah. Best of the Super Junior contestants, we have Jushin Thunder Liger. Woo! We have Ricochet.
That's the spot.
Yeah.
Last year's winner, Will Ospreay.
Mm-hmm.
Taichi.
Taichi.
Taka Michinoku.
Nice.
The current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, Hiromu Takahashi.
Awesome.
Dragon Lee from CMLL.
Okay.
Dragon Lee is great.
Yeah.
From ROH, Marty Scurll.
Really?
Marty Scurll, yes. You'd like Marty Scurll. I bet you'd like Marty Scurll. Tiger Mask 4.
I saw that dude. I could not believe how cool his mask is.
Ryusuke, I think you're thinking of Tiger Mask W.
Maybe.
That's Kota Ibushi.
Probably.
Yeah. Tiger Mask 4. Ryusuke Taguchi. Kushida. Yoshinobu Kanemaru. El Desperado. Bushi. And ACH.
Oh, I thought that was Ak.
Nope. ACH are in the tournament.
ACH for Ring of Honor?
Yes, sir.
Dope.
Obviously, I'm hoping we're going to get some more Ricochet Will Ospreay action. They are both in Block A, so they have to fight each other at some point. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The New Japan show that's on Access, if you are not watching that, you really should.
Yep.
The only downside to that show is that it is so far on tape delay.
They're 3 months?
Well, it's more than that because they still sometimes just like pull random matches and put them on there. But I'm hearing that they're going to start making that a little bit more current. I don't know if it's going to be, it was just last month and here it is, but that is something that I'm hoping they're going to do. They also, New Japan has a couple of small house shows that are coming up in California, to which I point out, nobody can compete with WWE right now, but I'm telling you, if New Japan can get a foothold, I feel like that's your competition. And if they try to start to expand into America, this could be fun.
They have an amazing product.
They really could.
I don't know if it's culturally meshed well with America, though, in some ways. You know what I mean?
But, I don't think it necessarily needs to culturally mesh well. I mean, a good match is a good match.
True.
You know what I mean?
True.
Kenny Omega Okada match, everybody was talking about.
Yeah.
That didn't happen in America.
I'm talking about more the atmosphere of the crowd, I guess.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, Japanese crowds, they're more respectful. They sit there and they watch the match and politely applaud every now and again until something happens.
Was that racist?
No, that was not racist. That is the sound you get at a Japan. Don't put that on me. I am deeply offended by your insinuation.
Oh yeah, I forgot you used to translate all the Japanese manga and shit we used to read and watch when we were younger.
That's right.
And all of the I still don't know how the hell you ended up translating all the old New Japan games and playing all the hacked N64 games in Japan.
Practice. That symbol must mean this.
Yep.
That's
right.
all
I'm like, dude, how do you know where the versus character screen versus the single player versus the story mode? Like, it was, yeah.
Yep.
You just screw with every one until you figure out what each of them does.
So, this... Memory. Obviously, if you are still listening at this point, this show has been very goofy.
I thought it was fun.
I've been having fun tonight.
I've been drinking.
It's getting late. So at this point, I want to end us with, we talked about it a little bit last week. I want to talk more about this potential Vince McMahon movie that might be coming out. And talking more about some things that are in this script.
What are the latest details?
So, and I'm getting all of this again from PW Insider.
Yeah.
Mike Johnson got his hands on the script. Apparently, the script begins in the 1970s with Vince already married to Linda, who is working as a waitress in a nudie bar.
What?
Frustrated by his job exploits going nowhere. His frustration is doubled by the fact that when he visits his father, an old-timey wrestling promoter who is cursing up a storm in every scene, he implores his father that the audience doesn't care about wrestling and really wants drama and theatrics. Vince goes to a Led Zeppelin concert. There is a scene early on where in the nudie bar, Linda tells Vince she is pregnant with Shane, and Vince declares that the mother of his child won't work in a place like this, and they leave. Manager tries to stop Linda from leaving before the end of her shift, and ends up in a fight with Vince, who trounces him.
Has Linda ever stepped foot in a nudie bar?
We are talking about somebody who is in President Trump's cabinet right now.
Right.
I wonder if this is even going to hit the screen, There's also a wink-wink line where Linda says that she and Vince could never be the political types, and perhaps their kids will be one someday.
Yeah, huh?
Let's see. Gorilla Monsoon, as I said last week, is more of the number 2 to Vince, instead of Pat Patterson. Let's see. Oh, instead of Hulk Hogan being on the stand during the steroid trial, it ends up being Gorilla Monsoon, which is totally not true.
He wasn't even there, was he?
No. Well, no, he was, but in a major change from real life, I have houses all over the country, Randy.
I can be on the stand and in the jury box, Randy.
I'm the judge, the jury, and the executioner, Randy.
Let's see. They say that Vince Sr. passes away during the steroid trial, which is totally not true. His infidelities are exposed, shocking his family. And after he's found not guilty, there's a scene in which Vince is in a limo with them, and they all rail against him for the terrible person he is, only for them to flip the switch on him and tell him that that's the making of their next great heel. So the Montreal Screwjob is not what turned Vince heel.
It was the steroid trial.
It was the steroid trial and the fact that he cheated on his wife.
Wow.
I don't understand how anyone looks at facts and comes up with this story.
During the steroid trial, the Shane and Stephanie are in high school. They're taunted over their father's legal issues, leading to the siblings beating the hell out of their tormentors in a school hallway, beating them into lockers and all.
Wow.
The Ted Turner rivalry is brought up, including the infamous "I'm in the wrestling business" phone call. It's recounted over the years, but Eric Bischoff is nowhere to be found. Instead, in this version, Jim and David Crockett work for the Turners, and they go after Hulk Hogan. Let's see, Junkyard Dog was found as a construction worker.
Mm-hmm.
Roddy Piper in jail. Jimmy Snuka as a porn actor.
Right. Talked about that.
Transformed them all into pro wrestlers. Vince, I talked about the Andre in the French restaurant. A lot of racy elements in this. Steroid use, including a brawl between Randy Savage and Roddy Piper on a plane with the idea that it was brought on by roid rage.
I see.
Most recent draft has Hogan dealing with steroid use, hurting his sex drive, and indeed, the size of his genitals. Female wrestler propositions Vince, leading him instead telling Linda what was suggested, so Linda leads Vince into the stands of MSG to do the deed herself.
Nice.
Classy.
So which one propositioned him?
A female wrestler.
They didn't say which one.
One version of the script features a scene where Randy Savage and Vince have a conversation about how Savage is popular with young women the same age as Stephanie.
Nice.
Leading to Savage telling Vince he would never think of touching her. That is the only time that the oft-repeated rumor is mentioned. Different versions of the script include the Iron Sheik, who is seen leaving his family and saying goodbye to them in an American accent. Nikolai Volkov, Bob Backlund, Bruno Sammartino, Jay Strongbow, Baron Mikhail Cicluna all pop up. Yeah, so we're going to reference Savage and Stephanie. That's about it. I was hoping there was more in there, but apparently the stuff that we talked about last week was the best stuff.
That's sad, unfortunately.
I know. I wanted to finish the show talking about some of that stuff.
But hey, Randy and Stephanie.
Didn't you read that before you brought it up?
I didn't. I started to, and then Ed showed up, and yeah. It's his fault.
I thought you were going to prepare.
Blame it on Ed, goddammit.
Thanks a lot, Randy.
Okay, we didn't talk about that. Before we sign off, let's end. That's a good thing to end on.
All right.
The House of Horrors match.
Dude.
Oh my God, was that the biggest piece of shit I have ever seen?
It was the dumbest, most ridiculous, over-the-top, greatest, most awesome thing that has ever happened on WWE television.
I worry that this is going to hurt the chances of any of the Broken Hardy stuff coming to WWE.
Because it was that bad.
Because it was that bad.
All right, well, maybe they'll be able to pull it together. The difference is they will be working with different talent, right?
Ed, I'm going to explain something to you.
Uh-huh.
The beginning of the match saw Randy Orton pull up in the limo.
Right.
Like I talked about last week.
Right.
He gets out of the limo. He's wearing black jeans, elbow pads, no shirt.
Obviously. He's coming to fight.
Gets out of the limo, looks at the house. The house has a blue light all over it.
Nice.
He then starts to walk up towards the house and hears an engine kick on and looks to his right. And he has to step out of the way of a tractor with nobody driving it going in reverse past him.
It's a ghost tractor.
It's a ghost tractor.
Extremely quickly, right? Because they
Hashtag
go very fast.
Haunted farm equipment. He walks up to the house, he looks in the window, and Bray Wyatt is standing there in the house, doing nothing, not looking at Randy, just standing. As you do.
Right.
They then fight in the house. They fight in a room where pieces of baby dolls are hanging from the ceiling. At one point, somebody goes through a wall. There's a scene in which Randy is walking down a hallway and Bray Wyatt reaches his hand through the wall and tries to grab him like it's a Jason Voorhees movie. They fight into the kitchen where somebody is written in dirt on the fridge, "We're here."
Okay.
I don't know why this stuck with me, and I ask anybody that is listening to go back and look at it. They were fighting. Bray tries to hit him with a pot. And at one point I look, and there is an ink pen sitting on the counter, and I'm thinking, why would you grab a pot? Why not grab a stabbing implement?
Why not stab him with the pen?
But I just thought it was very out of place that an ink pen is just sitting on a counter.
Like a Bic ballpoint?
It looked like a gel pen.
Oh, okay.
I love the gel pens, so I know what they look like.
I was wondering if it was like one of the old-timey
No.
ones, like an inkwell kind of thing.
So they fight, and then Bray pins Randy Orton underneath the refrigerator.
As in he just drops the fridge on him?
Tips the fridge on him.
Okay.
Gets out, gets into the limo. Driver, take me to the arena. And he begins to sing, he got the whole world
in his hands, Randy.
But he pretty much sings the entire song. It just drags on and on. And eventually the limo pulls away in the slowest crawl and drives to the arena. Then they cut to the announcers. The crowd is chanting boring.
Yeah.
They crank up the music in the background and try to cover it up. And the announcers have to sell it. Michael Cole... Booker T is sitting there looking like, what the fuck did we just watch? He's almost trying to hide a smile.
Right.
And Michael Cole is selling it. Corey Graves is on the other side, looking like he's about to bust into laughter. And Michael Cole, oh, Randy's stuck under a fridge, everybody.
Who's going to save him?
I believe he's going to have to forfeit this match because he's stuck under a fridge. And he's selling it like goddamn fucking fridges.
I can't.
Scourge of society.
We're supposed to be able to keep our composure and our journalistic integrity while talking about this match.
It's so bad.
It's so bad.
Fucking fridges.
So who gets him out from under the fridge?
Nobody, because here's the thing. The limo shows up. They have the match in between, which was, I believe, it doesn't matter at this point.
Right.
Match happens in between. The limo pulls up into the arena. Bray gets out, comes to the ring, and he's, standing in the ring with his...
Nobody's going to stop me.
I defeated Randy. And as he's standing there, Randy Orton comes out from under the ring. So apparently his Uber drove faster than the limo.
There's another fridge under the ring and it's like a portal.
Maybe that's what it was. He climbed in the fridge and it was a portal under the ring. He gets out and he gets into the ring and they start fighting. And the whole time I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on? And at this point, I'm live tweeting the show. I start looking at what other people are doing, and now I'm having fun with it. I'm throwing, like, ridiculous things out there. I threw out hashtag haunted farm equipment.
Right.
I start looking at what other people are saying. And Daniel Cormier, MMA fighter, he must have been at the show with his kid. He recorded his kid talking about the show, and the little kid goes, I don't know what happened. He's like, the fight just ended. And he was like, well, how did it end? And he goes, this wasn't a real fight. A match usually ends with pinfalls or submissions. There wasn't a pinfall. And it just says, Tyler's confused.
I would be too.
Jim Ross retweets it. I retweet it. So the match happens, and they start fighting, and it's like the crowd is so deflated from this piece of shit. They just want it over. Then out of nowhere, Jinder Mahal comes in.
For no reason.
Lays out Randy Orton. His little midget friends jump, Randy. Bray Wyatt hits the Sister Abigail, wins the match, and leaves, and I'm thinking, oh my God. I really hope they never do this again.
Ever. Like, why?
Fucking
Why?
fridges.
I really would like to have a conversation with their creative staff to come up or to find out who in the hell wrote that.
I mean, if you had no...
Why in the hell did Vince okay it?
If you had no idea what to do with it, I'm sure it was a creative meeting and he was like, God damn, pal. House of Horrors match. What's it going to be, Vince?
You think of it, I don't know.
God damn it, I don't know. You figure it out. You're the creative team.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It was horrible.
Why?
It was horrible.
Pure wrestle crap.
Fucking fridges.
A fridge.
Michael Cole was so upset. He's stuck under a fridge.
Like, dude, I've had fridges fall on me, and yeah, it hurts.
So Randy being in the Wyatt family gave him supernatural powers too. Like, because even during that, like the whole time Randy has been involved in the Wyatts, like his eyes have been glowing.
Yeah.
Like he's been able to appear out of nowhere. So it has just been absolutely insane.
I read a tweet on Monday night, and it kind of encapsulates the whole feud. So Randy Orton feuds with Bray, realizes he can't beat him, then infiltrates the Wyatt family, gets rid of the entire family, all so he could find Bray's house, have Bray trust him enough to allow him to be in the house alone so he could burn it to the ground. So then Bray says, well, here's my other house, Randy, and gives him the address.
Why didn't it end with him burning that house down too?
Well, here's the best part. So, and I don't know why I found this to be I don't know why I found this to be the best part, but I thought it was just it was just so dumb. The house has got a blue light all over it, right? Bray Wyatt beats Randy, and for some reason is like hacking up a lung, like he just keeps coughing.
Mm-hmm.
He climbs out onto the yard, drops down to his knees in front of the house. All the while they're playing this spooky horror music, right? He puts his arms out. Follow the buzzards! And as soon as he says it, the house goes from blue to red. Ooh. And at that moment, I'm like, some shit better happen to this house. Otherwise, I'm hoping it turns red because, like, aliens are about to, like, beam it up or something. Oh, God. Fucking fridges.
Who sold that?
I don't know. But I hope they were fired.
I have an amazing real estate portfolio.
You too can buy this house, Randy.
The secret is to buy them in bad condition and flip them, Randy.
When the real estate bubble burst, Randy. I own so many properties across the country.
That I was ill affected, Randy.
That's why I have so many members of my family, Randy. They're all vagrants that have found my house. Squatters' rights are a bitch. On that note, I think we need to go. I apologize. The show was really just off the rails tonight. I'm sorry.
It might be the best we've ever done.
It might be. This might be it. I hope we get feedback and people send more of this, less of that. Oh, God. So, signing off this week.
I'm Ed Rowland.
I'm Clifford L. Johnson.
And I am Rob English, saying to you, when life hands you adversity, always kick out at 2.
Sweet.